Hello, welcome to this space one more time. Are you ready for today's lesson? Okay, so let's do it. Today we're going to talk about how a teacher gets prepared for giving a class. Yes, as teacher, as you know, we need a lot of steps to follow to have a succeed lesson. But what are those steps? Today, I'm going to present you my steps and how a teacher has to be prepared before is going to give a class. So let's start. Today, I am going to start to share my screen and I am going to share from the first step. The first step that the teacher has to follow is to design a lesson plan according to what activities is going to have, what's the time that it's going to need, and of course the content and the context about the topic that is going to talk about. So here, first of all, we have to take in account that the class needs a time, right? According to what we have studied, now I can say that we have two important types of classes, and the first of those is a deductive class where the teacher presents grammar rules, and it's going to start from the title, and it's going to say examples about how the grammar is prepared or used. But there is another one which is a little bit easier for the students to get because it doesn't focus from the beginning about grammar. So this is the inductive approach or the inductive type. This one is the one that I'm going to present today. And this is the one where the teacher shows any other topic that doesn't show up at the beginning, the grammar point. So with this, I am trying to say that the student will discover by him or herself the grammar point. So this is one of the steps that a teacher has to get in count. What type or what class of class is going to give. And of course, what's the class focus? Right here on my lesson plan, you will see that my class focus is in conditionals, talking about conditionals. And of course, if I want to follow a goal if I want to succeed my goal, I have to have a competence, which is the part where I explain what I want from the students. So right here, as you can see, I have also my competence that it says use correctly verb tenses to communicate the different situations in daily life at anywhere. But of course, we have to continue here with the warm-up, which is the main part, I think, it's the main part of studying a class. Due to using warm-ups, teachers will get students' attention and they will refresh their minds coming from any other classes, for example, math, science, or any other class that may have them stressed, right? So a warm-up, it could be a song, it could be a game, it could be a lot of fun things for students, but meaningful. That's the key. It could be any of those that I've mentioned, but it has to be meaningful. It can be related to a new topic, or it can be a review of a topic that the students have seen. We also have to take in account how we are going to present this context. In this case, I am going to present the causes and effects of the weather. Yes? So right here, we are going to start to present the content, but to present the content, we have to follow 4 steps. Activation of prior knowledge, establishing function, establishing form, and the checkup. Well, the activation of prior knowledge is when the teacher asks or do things according to know what the students know about the topic that it's going to present. For example, if the teacher is going to talk about animals, the teacher might ask about animals' names, right? So this is an important part about the presentation. After this, the teacher is going to start with the establishing function, which is how is going to use the new content with the known already. In this case, I am going to activate the product knowledge through asking about season's name, and the students will have to find correct pictures and match with the season's names, right? But in the establishing function, the teacher will start to talk about situations that can happen during all seasons. In this case, the teacher will use examples using the conditionals, 0, first, second, and third conditional. After this, we'll establish the form to introduce the grammar or how the grammar is used. The teacher will show a chart describing difference, structure, and uses of every conditional. And finally, the checkup. The checkup are the activities that the students do according to what have learned in the lesson. In this case, students will practice by doing 3 activities: controlled, semi-controlled, and free practice. To review these activities, I can say that the control is the one where the teacher practices with the students, and there is only one answer, one only correct answer. So the teacher will have the control of the answers and, of course, of the class. Then we also have semi-control. The semi-control is where the students can give more than one answer and they will be correct. So it's more like give them a freely time to let them think, either in 1, 2, or more possibilities. And then the free practice. The free practice is the one where the students work alone. In this practice, the students don't need a supervision of the teacher, so they will do it by themselves. For a control practice, I have to complete sentences, and they will have to use conditionals, and everything is going to be about real situations. In the semi-control practice, they will have to analyze a worksheet. They will have to complete the sentences, but they will have more than one correct, more than one option to have the sentence correct. And finally, the free practice. The free practice is where they are going to do what they have learned by themselves. In this case, the students will write sentences about real-life situations using conditionals. But how am I going to use or how am I going to present this to my students? Well, I have prepared a presentation because this is very important to have in count. So right here, we will see that at the beginning, we have the warm-up. The warm-up is the most of the times the very, very important part of the lesson plan. So right here, as you can see, I start with my warm-up. And it's a song time, singing time. Listen and repeat. As you can see, the lyrics of the song are right there. So the students won't get lost. And of course, I also have a video. Hi guys, are you ready? Let's follow. So they will have to follow movements and pronunciation. Little children want to play. Rain, rain, go away. Rain, rain, go away. Come my little another day. Little children want to play. Rain, rain, go away. Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. Little children want to play. Rain, rain, go away. do you think about it? Isn't that fun? Yes, of course, it'll be fun, especially for the students that are just changing their minds, right? In the adolescence, it's very important to have them a balance. So I think a move and singing time, it'll be perfect for them. Now, I'm going to start from asking something about the causes and effects of the weather. And right here, we can see our title, the weather lesson. And of course, let's know what they know about the weather. Can you identify the weather seasons? Because this is very important, you know. If you cannot identify the seasons, you will barely could talk about the weather. So right here, they will listen, they will discuss, and they will get the correct answers. After this, here is the presentation, the main presentation. And the teacher, in this case, will start to talk about the summertime, yes? And we'll present some examples on how or what the students can get from the summertime. For example, if you heat ice in the sun, it melts, right? Because this is a real fact. And right here, the teacher is presenting the zero conditional. In the other hand, is presenting winter time. And in the winter time, if it rains, I will get wet, right? So if it rains, I will get wet. Of course, because if I don't have an umbrella and I don't have a raincoat, I will get wet. That's another thing that it could happen. And this is focused on the first conditional. But there are two more conditionals missing, right? So here in full time, it's presenting, the teacher is presenting about wishes or things that will probably happen. If I were in the park, I will fly a kite, right? If I were in the park, I will fly a kite. It's something that the kid in this case is thinking about it. It's not real, it's not probably, but it's like kind of a wish. And this is related to the second conditional. And finally, we have the springtime. And it says, if I had taken my medicine before, I would have gone to the park. And this is a situation where the teacher presents the third conditional. Of course, students will discuss on real facts according to every season during the year. Having in count summertime, winter, fall, and springtime. And now, let's see how much the students have learned from these lessons. And right here, the teacher presents a kind of reflection for the students, right? Why it's very important to think in everything. And it says everything can happen during the year. So we have to be ready for any situations, right? In life, we have real or unreal situations. We also have to be prepared for the ones that are probably coming and to receive advices, of course. Everything is talking about conditionals, and they describe the result of something that might happen in the past, present, or future time. So in this case, the students will get more related to this content. Here is the grammar presentation, how the teacher introduces or presents the grammar point. And as you can see, there is a chart where the teacher presents how and why is used every conditional, from the zero through the third conditional, and all the verb tenses that has to use. And then also the practices, because you cannot give classes and leave them alone and ask them to do something if you have not proved that they have learned what you're trying to communicate or share to them, right? So here, this is the first practice, the control practice. In this control practice, the teacher asks the students to complete sentences, like fill in the blank, right? To complete or fill in the blank, there is only one correct answer, right? So here, the students will complete the sentences and the activity will be controlled by the teacher. Next, we also have this presentation, and it'll present a link where the students will have to work on a live worksheet, and it's online. So they will have to work on that worksheet online. And it might be like 2 or 3 or more correct answers. So this is called the semi-control practice, where the students can get more than one correct answers. And finally, let's see how much the students got from you as teacher. So here, did you get the difference in conditionals? Because remember, there were 4 of them, right? So now it's your turn. Write 5 sentences using different conditional for everyone. Use as a context a real life situation. So this, it'll get more into the content to the students, and they will find easy ways to explain what they got from this content about the conditionals. And of course, there has to be a time where the teacher will ask about if the students has any question, right? Because sometimes we don't assume as a teacher that they all learn, right? Or more of the half of the class have learned. So it's a very good option to ask for questions. And then thanks for the attention, because they have been paying attention. Even though they haven't, I know that they might haven't listened. So this is a good explanation about how you can deal with your presentation. Of course, with the daily lesson presentation. And thank you for being here today. I hope this helps you in your classes, and I hope that it's understandable for you. And this is Miss Tania Us presenting for you. Thank you very much.